Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton. The nation is showing support for Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin, who went into sudden cardiac arrest during an NFL football game. A Plymouth family can empathize because their loved one went through something similar. Reporter Sonia Goins shows how the family is using their experience to help the community.
It was very surreal because on Monday night when this young man, Damar Hamlin, collapsed, the whole stadium went quiet.
Monday night's NFL football game brought back painful memories for the Orchestron family.
And when I arrived at the Wayzata High School football field, it was that exact same feeling.
On the ground, blue, lifeless.
13 years ago, when Teddy Orchestron was just 16 years old, he went into cardiac arrest while running sprints during summer football practice for Wayzata High School.
I'm just glad that the people knew what they were doing so they could save my life.
Coaches and staff members recognized Teddy was in trouble. They performed CPR and used an AED to revive his heart. Teddy's father, Norm, says he's grateful people acted quickly to save his son's life.
One of Teddy's teammates grabbed the AED and sprinted it as fast as he could to the Wayzata High School football field.
Sudden cardiac arrest is the leading cause of death in the United States. Teddy is one of the lucky ones. He's doing fine today. He plays basketball, skis, and hikes. But his doctors still don't know what caused his cardiac arrest.
He does have a safeguard. He has an implanted ICD, an implantable cardioverter defibrillator.
Norm Orchestron says he suffered from PTSD.
Everyone deals with this a little bit differently, but it affects the dynamics of the family relationships.
Norm changed his tragedy into triumph. He became an American Heart Association instructor and eventually got involved with the Heart Safe in Plymouth program, which was started 12 years ago.
And our initial goal was to train 10% of the city of Plymouth, which we just made. And so we're at 7,050 people so far, and we have another training coming up next week on Thursday.
Norm wants more heart checkups for youth, and he's calling for everyone to be trained in CPR.
The importance of knowing CPR and having AEDs everywhere where people gather, that's really what's going to help increase the survival rate.
Teddy's family is thankful the right people were at the right place at the right time.
I feel very, very grateful. I thank God for being there.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
For more information on CPR classes, head to our website for this story, ccxmedia.org. A water quality improvement project in Golden Valley includes a reminder about de-icing salt.
One of the biggest threats to water quality right now, especially in the winter, is de-icing salt. And so use salt sparingly. You know, it only takes a teaspoon of salt to permanently pollute 5 gallons of water. So use it sparingly on your driveways and sidewalks, if at all.
The City of Golden Valley and the Bassett Creek Watershed Management Commission are teaming up to improve a more than mile-long stretch of Bassett Creek. That stretch between Region Avenue and Golden Valley Road has erosion to creek banks. The project will stabilize the banks with native vegetation and repair creek beds to improve water flow in the middle of the creek. Officials are currently collecting input from residents impacted by the project. Improvements to Bassett Creek Park in Crystal are also in the works. The City Council approved going out for bids to enlarge the dog park, creating a small and large dog park, plus trails connecting each one. Part of that project also includes replacing a 40-year-old pedestrian bridge. The current bridge will not support any maintenance vehicles, so it's not cleared in the winter. The new bridge will also be ADA friendly. City Council members said pedestrians are currently using a tree trunk and a rope to cross the creek right now. The city went out for bids on both of these projects last year, but they came in too high. Crystal hopes to get started by late spring with the improvements for them to be completed by July. Cold winter weather certainly gets Minnesotans thinking about traveling to warmer climates. And while that isn't always a simple thing to do, one thing you can do is eat the food from that region. Reporter Delane Cleveland takes us to a new restaurant in Brooklyn Park that will have you thinking about the islands of the Caribbean.
Minnesota never disappoints you.
Roughly 2,000 miles separate Minnesota from the Caribbean nation of Jamaica. But the good news is that if you want to try the food from that area,
This is the jerk wings, the jamming jerk wings.
you don't have to travel far.
Seeing my dream come alive, I can't explain. I just have to thank God.
Nadia Wotrang Brown is the owner of Nadia's Jamaican Kitchen, which opened in Brooklyn Park on December 29th. She calls this a Jamaican soul food restaurant, serving up favorites like jerk chicken, a couple different flavors of soup, and plenty of other mouth-watering dishes that were inspired by her mom.
I just want people to literally, taste the way I was brought up, to that flavor and real, authentic, real, good Jamaican food.
This venture fulfills a lifelong dream. 7 years ago, Nadia and her son Tyler even picked up the chairs from a local garage sale, just with the hope that one day they could use them in her own restaurant.
So I'm really happy and proud of her to see that she's come so far along and she's making delicious food.
Now the hope is that others will venture out to Noble Parkway to try the food for themselves. Nadia did offer a bit of reassurance for any potential customers with a low tolerance for spice.
Some Jamaican food are very spicy. I don't do spicy. If someone wants spicy, I can make spicy, but it's well flavored.
Well-flavored food that's sure to take your mind off this winter weather.
Come on in and try it, and you won't be disappointed.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
And the official grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony will take place on January 11th at 2 p.m. The restaurant plans to offer discounts on food and have prize giveaways on that day.
The Hopkins girls basketball team entered the weekend with an 8-0 record as the Royals look to shoot their way toward back-to-back state championships. In this week's CCX Sports Spotlight, we meet a 4-year varsity letter winner on her way to even bigger and better things. She is one of the best prep basketball players in the state of Minnesota.
Agara scores and one.
And yet it seems like Nunu Agara has been overshadowed at times at Hopkins. Early in her career by the great Paige Beckers, and perhaps even through last season by now University of Arizona player Maya Najee.
Najee grabbing the rebound. She was fouled and one.
That all may be more perception than reality, but Agara doesn't seem to care one way or the other.
You go here to be great, and sometimes you have to sacrifice, and that's what we did as a team. I feel like with all the big names that were here, we work together as a unit still. But yeah, I'm glad I'm getting the recognition that I have.
Just a really good kid, very high-spirited, coachable, great leader, just a very huge part of the program. Does everything that a program that wants to be an elite program, these are the type of kids you need in the program.
The senior forward is averaging 19 points and 9 rebounds per game for the state's top-ranked team. At the recent Park Center Showcase Tournament, Nunu hit the 1,000-point mark for her career. Big moment for her and her family.
Honestly, it was really great. I had my family there, so we were able to celebrate, and it was just really nice to just have that. That was one of my bucket list things on my list of goals, and I'm glad I was able to accomplish that.
A self-described vocal leader, Nunu has no problem leading this Royals team that is a mixture of veterans like herself and young players. And as is often the case with talented athletes, Agara is a tireless worker, too.
She's one that is constantly in the gym. And there's been times where I've had to say, hey, take a day off, relax, chill, let your body rest, let your mind rest. And I'll see a video on social media, and it's like, girl, I told you to go sit down somewhere. And she's out working on her game. So she spends a ton of time working on her game.
Nunu certainly wasn't overlooked by Power 5 conference basketball schools. She shined with one of the country's best programs and schools, Stanford University. Meeting Stanford's rigorous academic standards was no problem for this straight-A student.
I knew Stanford was the one. I always made a deal with my mom. If I go somewhere warm, she'll come with me. So I always knew in the back of my mind I wanted to go somewhere warm. Minnesota is really cold, and I cannot deal with another 4 years of cold.
Nunu originally had plans to be a surgeon after her basketball career ends. She's found a new passion instead.
I do want to be a criminal defense attorney, so that's an area I love. I love just defending people that are wrongfully accused.
Last summer, she made the Team USA Under-17 squad, the first time she had been selected for a national team. So just a few months after winning another state high school championship at Hopkins, Nunu was part of a gold medal winning USA team.
you're playing with the 12 best players in the country, so it's really hard to navigate sometimes. But just having that support system from them and then just able to win a gold medal, that's kind of, a lot of people don't get to do that.
Nunu, by the way, is a nickname given to her by her mother as a child. Her given name is Nadia. While she likes both, she may try to adult into her birth name when she gets to Stanford.
It's kind of hard because a lot of people know me as Nunu. That's very hard. But I want to grow up a little bit, so I want to try to see if I can use my first name and see. I'll try to gradually bring it in there. I'm like, no, I'm Nadia.
But all that can wait. For now, Nunu Aguirre's focus is on just one thing: bringing home another state title to Hopkins.
That's my #1 goal. If I don't accomplish anything else, I want to win another state championship. That's all that matters. I want to win this for my team. Have another banner up there.
For the CCX Sports Spotlight, I'm John Jacobson. Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.